Welcome back, y'all. Today we're going to talk about the NX4 from Elation and Obsidian controls. A couple upgrades about this console, but first let's talk about the history of the Obsidian brand. So Obsidian is formerly the Martin M series consoles. The final M series console was the M6. And then Martin was selling the brand. Elation bought it from Martin essentially, and then they came out and had to rebrand it. They rebranded it to the Obsidian brand of controllers, and the first console in that brand was the NX2 console, and this is the new flagship console in that brand, the NX4. A couple upgrades from the former series, which was the M series, is we got some nice smooth buttons here. They're not clicky like the other buttons on the M series used to be. We also have some smooth faders. The faders are a lot smoother. These are motorized. Your main playback section, you've got some Submaster faders over here that are not motorized. You got your Grandmaster here. One of the cool things about this desk that I really like is if you're left or right-handed, you have a go button on either side of the desk with a matching pair of snap and release buttons and select buttons. So you could hit go on this side of the console or hit go on this side of the console. Really cool. Let's go over here and talk about this section. This is your programmer section of the console. You got your typical layout. We've got user-defined keys up here that you can make do anything, select groups, parameters, presets, and that kind of stuff. That's what these do. One thing I didn't mention is these are playback buttons here. With labels on them, so you've got quick, easy access to like strobes and color bumps and all that fun stuff. Back to this section, there's a dedicated intensity knob right here, so this is always intensity no matter what. This is your parameter select screen. We'll talk about that more once we turn it on. You got a trackball with your click buttons for when it's in mouse mode, and then we've got really nice parameter wheels here that click in. We'll talk about that more once it's started as well. So now let's talk about how quick the startup time is on this console. So let's do it right now. It's a pretty fast startup.
It's not fast.
So startup time, it's not any faster than maybe like an MA or something like that, but it's pretty quick considering that it's a new console. So let's dig into the features of the desk. So I'm just gonna go over the desk right now and talk about some pros and cons I think about the desk. Then I'm gonna have Nicholas come on later, and he's gonna talk about the new Dylos engine in this console. So the console has one screen on it. Now, if you've used the previous flagship for what was the M series, you're gonna miss the two screens. And I think, honestly, if you're programming medium to big shows and you've been using an MA Lite or MA full size or any pretty high tier console, and this is considered their flagship, I think you're going to miss having two monitors. I would have maybe preferred a wider monitor to make up for the missing second monitor. We have plugged in an external monitor. It's in an awkward position when it is plugged in, so I do miss having that second monitor on here, but I do like that it is attached to the console and it folds down nicely. That does help with the weight and making it more flexible with transportation, especially if you want to fly with a desk. This is definitely good for that. So that is definitely a pro. You just have to weigh out the odds on if you're willing to sacrifice a second screen to have more portability. So that's that. One of the things I really like about this desk, it does affects, I think, building better than most desks out there. Building effects is extremely quick on this console. I feel like you can do it a lot quicker with its effects engine versus other console effects engines out there. It is a little more complicated when you get into doing A and B colors. A lot of consoles, I think, succeed when it comes to color effects in that spectrum, where you want to go between a green and a Congo, for instance. That includes a little more color mixing. So creating those kind of effects and offsetting it across your fixtures is a little more difficult than on other desks. But when it comes to pan, tilt, intensity effects, you can do a really quick amount of cues with this effects engine. I do, however, wish they had the ability to do preset based effects, so create an effect between two presets. That would be really cool. But the effects engine that it has is really great for the market of this console. One of the cool things about the console is you can assign buttons to the side here, not just views. You can have a button for lamp on and lamp off, which is nice. This is our 2D plan, which we'll talk about in a little bit because it includes Dylos built into that. The touch screen is very nice and solid. It's glass. It's not like that plastic kind of feel that you feel on the older desks that are out there. Really nice color coding that you could do on the presets and the groups, which is cool. I really love the flexibility of the screen layouts. You can really get around nicely when it comes to editing your layouts. So you could create a bunch of windows and then add what you want in those windows really quickly. So I do like that. One of the major upgrades on this desk is the motorized faders. They're a lot more smoother and snappier. This is how quick they are right now, so they're really nice. Really love that. Just overall, the speediness of getting around your groups is quicker. These are user-defined keys right here. I like assigning them to different banks so you get around quicker to your primary banks that you need. So that's really nice. There's a lot of customization on this console as far as where you can place everything, what you can assign to what, and what buttons can do what. So that's really nice. So those are some of my favorite features about the desk and some of the pros and cons that I came up with. So we're going to now talk about the Dylos engine, and Nick's going to come in and help us with that.
I'm so drunk.
So now we're going to talk about what separates the small boy consoles to the high tier big men consoles, such as MA, Ion, and now we got Dylos on the NX4. So Dylos, for those who don't know, is a new pixel mapping software. So normally how we would do pixel mapping is if we look at that camera, you'd see we have all these strips, and we use Resolume and we pixel map everything. It's a cool effect. It's not useful for everything, but we use it for some things. But the NX4 has now introduced Dylos, which is pretty much in-console pixel mapping. So we can see here, like, I've made a few effects already. So I'm just gonna pull them up at random for right now. So right there is a nice, cool green one. Then we have a multicolored one. And now we have a kind of big shimmer yellow. And the main point of this all is it's all running on the console. It's all built into the console. We don't need separate processor or anything like that. And it runs really smooth. Like right there is probably, gosh, let's see, each stick is 120 fixtures technically. So we're running over 500 fixtures right there alone technically. And so if we want to look at my view for right now, I'll get into a little bit more depth of it. So we have zone composers, zone library, and in this view we have our 2D view. So let me just make one manually right now, just to show you how easy it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click my left side, because for this demonstration, we're only doing the left. So I'm gonna click my left side, pull up the intensity fader, because Dylos is actually treated as a separate fixture in this console. So I've set 3 different fixture types. So we have left, right, and then all. And then I'm just gonna click a piece of content. Let's find one we like. Let's do monochrome. It's easy for right now. And we'll just do this, just to show you, like, super simple. That's literally, it's pixel mapping right there. That's how easy it was. But now let's go for a little bit more complicated one, just so we can show you the real effects of it. So here we see we have like a cool white flowing motion in a sense, but we're not done there. We can actually do much more. If we actually go into the effects here, we can actually start layering other we can actually start laying other, I guess, video files onto it. So if I click this, for instance, it's now layering a new video fixture on top of that. So now we're getting more complex with our stuff. I can even do 2. So now we can see it's layering 2 more video layers on top of our first one, and it's still running smoothly. Again, this is over 500 fixtures technically running this smooth, which is kind of insane. You know, we would do this on Resolume, and we would get maybe 30 frames, but this is running very smooth. So let me clear that just to show you some of the other cool things, is because we're not actually stuck with just doing certain stuff with these video layers. Like, we're not stuck to these colors. We can actually change whatever aspect of this we want. So for instance, in our video layer here, I can make the color whatever I want it to be. So for instance, it was white, but I'm actually able to change it to red, yellow, literally anything. Any color that a console can do, we can do with this. We can also change like pan and tilt of certain stuff. So you can see I'm actually, if the camera zoomed in here, I'm actually spinning the image around, which is affecting the strips. Same with tilt, I just flipped it around. Width, we can increase how wide it is. So that was making it very short there, and now I'm actually stretching the image to getting more, it's getting like a faster effect on it, stuff like that. I can just move it sideways or up and down with X and Y. So they actually offer quite a lot with this stuff, and it's still pretty new. So I'm sure they're gonna add more stuff in the future, more support. And probably the main selling point for this is just how much video stuff that they've actually offered in this. So we can see here, there's not much here. Okay, that's a lot more. That's a lot more. There's actually over 2,000 files on here. So we can pretty much get whatever colors we want, whatever effects we want, we're able to do it. So that is the pretty simple, pretty fast explanation of Dylos. Yeah.
So we're going to do a wrap up of what we think of the NX4. I have always been a huge fan of the console line, but let's talk about some pros and cons of this desk. Major pro, price range, it's about a $9,000 to $10,000 price range for it. Of course, that price is going to differ depending who you go through, what their markups are and all that stuff. So make sure you look around, find the best price you can. It's really light, really portable. The fold-up screen built into it makes it extremely compact, which is nice. It's a fraction of the depth of the former flagship M6 console. That said, if you really love your M6 console and you have it, and you really like those 2 screens like we do, they do have a performance upgrade package for the M6 available now, and I think it's about $3,500 to $3,800. So you have that option that essentially boosts it up to the performance of this console, which is really great. So
is this the console for everyone, Chris? No.
No.
But is this the console for maybe those people who can't afford an MA that's like $30,000? Probably. I mean,
Probably.
from the customizability, that was a word. That was a tongue twister right there.
That was a tongue twister, yeah.
To, I mean, the amount of faders you get, the amount of control you get, to Dylos.
Dylos is definitely a game changer. I think Dylos is I will go out and say it's the best pixel mapping engine out there right now that I have seen. I would even go as far to say that I would prefer it over a bunch of the other solo pixel mapping engines that are out there built into like different software. I'm not going to name them, but I'm pretty sure we all know who they are. So definitely love the Dylos feature on here, and programming it as a fixture is really great. It makes it extremely user-friendly because you're treating it as a fixture, but you don't have to patch it as a fixture, which is nice. You just literally apply it to your current fixtures, and that makes it really cool. So I really like that about it.
So for those who have issues with the one screen display like we do, you're actually able to put up to 2 DisplayPort screens. So total of 3 screens on the thing, which is, it's nice. It really helps with the smaller screen. And they don't have to be touchscreen or anything. Normal screens will work.
That's right. We did find a slight bug with the software, I believe, though. So make sure that the software is up to date. because the screens gave us some bugs with this current software, but upon updating, I'm sure it'll fix it on the next update. But yeah, they're really great at the Elation headquarters at updating the console. Whenever you have an issue or you need a fix, usually the turnaround is extremely quick. So we're really happy with the customer service. And that brings me to the final pro of this product, is the amazing customer service that you get from Elation and Obsidian Control. Anytime you have an issue, you essentially get the best top tier service.
Yeah, we had an issue with this console where it actually wasn't on the new software, so we tried to update it, and using our technological ability, we actually destroyed the BIOS.
We did.
Which is, you know.
We kind of I think we might have broke it.
But so we contacted the guys, and they actually brought us a whole new console and took the old one, said, hey, don't worry about it, we'll fix it.
That's right. So that's what I call top customer service.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Definitely, this is a product I would highly recommend for any venue, specifically where space is probably limited, and where you need pixel mapping, because pixel mapping on here is extremely awesome. But yes, I highly recommend this. I'm going to give it definitely a 9 out of 10.
A 4 out of 5, because it is the NX4.
A 4 out of 5, yeah, 4 out of 5. The only reason why it wouldn't be top of my list is because the one screen built in. I am such a fan of having more than one screen on my consoles that I've gotten so used to it. But for you, it might not be an issue. So yeah, check it out. Highly recommend it. We want to thank our sponsors, E2I Design. We also want to thank the guys at Elation for sending this over. And again, go give them a shout out and definitely follow them on Instagram. If you want to see more videos like this, what can they do?
They can actually leave a comment down below.
That's right.
Just let us know what you would like us to review. I mean, we're trying to do a whole bunch of stuff in the lighting area, so.
That's right, and we listen to your comments. Coming up soon, we're gonna have the MK3 spot from Chabet, not just one, but all the versions of that fixture, and a few more surprises. So please follow the page, subscribe, turn on notifications, and thanks for watching.
Thanks.